What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman, the third of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning in to the Rob Westerman Show. You can find me all over social media at GBP Daily, and if you are not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate that. It is Monday, January 6th. Happy Monday, everybody. We are unfortunately not celebrating a Victory Monday for the second straight week, but not all is lost. The Packers are playoff bound. It's playoff week. Zero time to sulk over the exhibition game that happened yesterday. The Packers finished the regular season 11-6 and are in the playoffs for the second straight year. Jordan Love reaches the playoffs for the second time in as many years as the starter. Won a game last year down in Dallas. Now we will wait and see if we can do so again and hopefully get more than one win. The game time is officially set next Sunday, 3:30. Packers-Eagles out in Philadelphia. The Eagles are only favored by 3.5 points. So an interesting line by Vegas. Here, considering that our last two games did not go very well. Kind of an embarrassing showing from the Packers in the Vikings game last Sunday. And then yesterday, you make of it what you will. Had some backups in, but still was pretty uninspiring. But Eagles, only a 3.5 point favorite. We'll see if that ends up being anything close to what the final score will be. Things to watch out for this week. The injuries. And unfortunately for us, we have a lot of them. Quay Walker, who did not play this week, will he go? Evan Williams, who injured his quad a couple weeks back during practice, will he be able to go? And Romeo Doubs, who was sick yesterday, I would assume he'll be ready to go. Jordan Love was said to be fine after leaving yesterday's game. Zane Anderson, who has a concussion, will he be able to go? A lot of things to keep an eye on this week when the Packers hit the practice field. Christian Watson looked like a pretty bad injury yesterday. He went down with a knee injury that was non-contact, and I saw yesterday after the fact that 75% of ACL injuries happen on non-contact. I'm hoping and praying that that is not the case. We really needed him for this playoff run, and that looks like it won't happen. So Coach said after the game yesterday that he is not confident about his injury. So we'll wait and see if we get any news today regarding that. You got to feel for Christian. Finally got his hamstring injuries under control. Still ended up missing some games this season. He went down with a knee bruise and missed the Vikings game last week. And then, as we just mentioned, left yesterday's game with what looks to be a pretty serious injury. Tough break for Christian. We really needed him. He changes this offense like no other player on our offense. So hopes for Christian Watson. Good news to come out today. Hopefully it's not an ACL. Hopefully it's not an ACL for him. Without further ado, let's hop into the comment section here and see what the vibe is. And as always, if you want to be a part of the show, the Nicolet Law hotline is now live. You want to be a part of the show, you got a Packers question, you got a Packers comment, anything Packers related, you got a Packers complaint. I'm taking your calls right now. Would love to hear from you. Number is on the screen, 319-242-2332. John, Watson is playing the wrong sport. Well, he's pretty good at it. It's just it's unfortunate for Christian. Yesterday was tough to see. I did hear Coach LaFleur talk yesterday after the game saying, with Romeo Doubs being sick, that did play into the decision to activate him. Clearly, after the fact, that we can all say that was the wrong decision. And hopefully Romeo Dobbs, hopefully he's better now, but he must have been pretty sick to not be able to go yesterday. Not sure exactly what was going on there, what he was sick with. But yeah, just tough to see that and then see what happened when they did activate him. It didn't seem like he was getting a ton of action out there in general as far as targets goes. And yeah, he ended up getting injured on a non-contact, which makes it even worse, unfortunately. So thank you, John, for hopping in, my man. Hope you have yourself a great Monday, although it is not a Victory Monday. Enjoy it anyways. Newton, I saw your post yesterday about the 1-10 confidence level about making a run. How do you feel about us and our Super Bowl chances? What's up, Newton? I appreciate you following along on social media and for tuning in. For me, it all lies in the game this weekend. If we can come out of Philly with a win, then that probably means we're playing pretty good football. And when we're playing even at a B to a B plus level, I think we can hang and have a chance to beat anybody. The question is, can we play at a B or B plus level? And you consider the field right now in the NFC. The Lions are obviously at the top. They smoked the Vikes last night, and we hung with them at least the second time around. The Vikings are, in my opinion, the second best team, and we lost by 2 in both meetings against them. If we can take care of Philly, I think we've got a shot to beat any of the remaining teams that we go up against. That's kind of where I'm at. But I need to see something first. I'd love to tell you my confidence level is at a 10 right now, but it is not realistically. My homerism optimistic statement would be, yeah, absolutely. We're gonna go on a run. We're gonna win it all, and it's gonna be great. But especially on the offensive side, it's been pretty uninspiring over the second half of the season. We've ended up putting up, a decent amount of points in some of those games. But you take the Saints game, for example, you go off for 3 straight touchdowns in the first half, and then you pretty much do next to nothing for the rest of the game. So it seems like we have one good half of offense where we're going off, everything's working perfectly, and then we have a half of offense that looks like they're thinking too much, kind of sputterish. Excuse me. But yeah, I need to see something first. If we could take care of Philly this weekend, my confidence level, yes, will shoot up to 10 for sure. Right now, though, I'm sitting at like a 6. I'm at a 6, and I'm happy to be in the playoffs. How about that? Chris, what do you think of last night's game? Last night's game went exactly the way I wanted it to go. I did not want the Vikings to win, and that's about it, really. The Lions looked great offensively, and even down so many guys on defense, they caused a lot of problems for the Vikes, specifically Sam Darnold. So some might disagree. I want to face the Lions as opposed to the Vikings if that situation were to arise, if we could win this weekend. U.S. Bank is a tough place to play, and I think they have a better defense as far as a matchup against us. But if we can take care of business in Philly, I'll be feeling really good about going back to Detroit for a third rematch. Hopefully, it will be a different outcome this time around. Thank you, Chris, for hopping in. Appreciate you. My man, Alexander, in the house. LaFleur is afraid to win by all the points. He feels bad pouring it on people, so instead they just start playing not to lose. Yeah, it does seem like things switch, right? When you go up big. I'm not sure if it's necessarily his play calling. I think that probably has something to do with it. But, man, it just seems like the guys are playing so tight, and it just doesn't make any sense. The Saints game, you go 3 straight drives and you're scoring touchdowns, and it's easy as can be. And then, man, it's like pulling teeth in the second half, even getting a first down. And I believe in that game, if it wasn't for Was it Malik Willis who hit Jaden Reed for a 40-yard gain or something down the field on fourth down? We ended up scoring on that drive, making that score 31-13, if I remember correctly, the final score of that game. So, yeah. Got to play a little loose this weekend, and I think they will. Although Vegas only has the Eagles favored by 3.5, it seems like it should be more than that. But, man, got to play a little looser this weekend for sure. Thank you, Alexander, for hopping in the chat. Tracy, any concerns with Matt LaFleur as the head coach? To make a long answer short, no. Is there some things that he needs to clean up? Sure, absolutely. But overall, I have no concerns with him as our head coach, and I actually love him as a head guy. So the timeout probably did cost us the game last night or yesterday, but I don't have any concerns with him going forward. And I think it's crazy talk to want to move on from Matt, if you're asking me, which you did. So I'm not saying you're crazy, Tracy, but I love Matt as our head guy. Absolutely. Be straight, my man in the house. Once again, the play calling on third, fourth down, and short is ridiculous. They have no type of deceptive plays and telegraph the run too much. That 4th and 3 jet sweep was just, I don't even know what that was. I feel like it's never worked. So I understand the options were a little limited, and I at first had thought that maybe Malik Willis was still a little banged up from that hit the previous drive, to where they thought running the ball was the best case scenario in that situation. But, yeah, I do not understand that play call whatsoever. Jaden Reed fumbled earlier. I understand you don't want to cast guys away when they do things like that, but put the ball back in his hands on 4th and short. I don't understand that. So I'm with you, be straight. 3rd and 4th and short is pretty rough as far as a play calling standpoint. Let's get the fact of the day rolling, shall we? It is a positive one. And John, sorry, I'm just seeing your comments. I'll get to you here in just a second.
It's time for your Green Bay Packers Fact of the Day. Brought to you by TickPick. TickPick guarantees to have the lowest prices on Packers tickets. If you find cheaper tickets elsewhere, TickPick will give you 110% of your money back. If you want $20 off your next ticket order, use code Packers20 at checkout. That's Packers20. This promo code can only be used in the app, so make sure to download the TickPick app today.
All right, your fact of the day. The Packers ended the regular season with 2,468 rushing yards as a team. That is second most in franchise history behind the 2003 team. Shout out to the offensive line for clearing space for our guys. And shout out to Josh Jacobs, who had a great first year with us. I talked about him a lot on the show this season, but he is our best overall player on the entire team. Going to need him to continue to be his best if we want to make a run in the playoffs. And I think he's up for the challenge. I think he'll do just that. So shout out to Josh Jacobs. Shout out to the O-line for getting us to the second most rushing yards in franchise history. And shout out to TickPick for partnering up with myself. I've used TickPick for the Packers-Cardinals game back in October. I used TickPick for the Packers-Dolphins game on Thanksgiving night. They guarantee the Packers cheapest tickets on the market, and they put their money where their mouth is. If you find cheaper tickets elsewhere, they will give you 110% of your money back. Download the TickPick app. Use the code Packers20 for $20 off your order. My man John's in the house getting after it. How about McManus? 55-yarder in 9 degrees. Yeah, he's got balls of steel, doesn't he? That was wild. And coming in clutch time, I mean, I feel so grateful that I don't even worry about the field goals anymore. I don't worry about extra points like we did with Braden Narvison earlier this year and Anders Carlson all of last year. Flashback to training camp when, at least for me, the most important and highest engaged content that I was posting during training camp was the final tallies from Greg Joseph and Anders Carlson and who was winning that battle. Both of them were not doing very good. So thankfully, that is not a conversation at this point in the season. And yeah, he's got balls of steel. I absolutely love Brandon McManus and the way he's been playing this year. So thank you, John. Joe, at Philly, at Detroit, at Minnesota, revenge tour. Absolutely. That would be the route, right? Assuming that Minnesota wins Monday night against the Rams. I hope they lose. I'm a huge Rams fan on Monday night. At Philly, let's take care of business. At Detroit, let's take care of business. Round seed 1. And then whoever stands in our way again for the NFC title game, could be the Rams, could be the Vikings, could be the Buccaneers, could be the Commanders. You never know. If we go on a little run like that, look out. Don't care about yesterday. LaFleur's got to have something up his sleeve, though, right? Absolutely, Joe. He's saving his good offensive play calling for the playoffs, right? That's kind of where I'm at. We're doing a little hustling right now as far as how we've been playing the last couple weeks and just kind of maybe getting the Eagles a little overconfident just to come out and smack them in the mouth. That's where my head's at, and that's where it's going to stay because I'm not going to go down and be in the dumps and say we're going to get smoked. And I don't understand that type of mentality. We're just sitting at home watching these guys on TV and or sitting in the stadium watching them play on the field. You won't find me talking about the season's over or we've got no chance because it's just not true. The season's not over, and we have a chance. We're only 3.5-point underdogs. And if one thing's for sure, Vegas is more right than they are wrong. So hopefully we can go into Philly and take care of business. Aaron, my man over on Facebook, for us to win the Super Bowl would be the greatest run in NFL history, bar none. The run we had in 2010 was pretty sweet. The first 6 seed and the only 6 seed, I think, for the NFL to ever win the Super Bowl. That was pretty fun, going to Philly, going to Atlanta, going back to Chicago, taking care of the Bears, and then taking down the Steelers, who at the time had the best or maybe the second best defense in the league. That was pretty sweet. This run would be pretty dang sweet, too. In Philly, who... man, they're good. So they've got an MVP candidate in Saquon. He was, 100 and some yards from breaking the record, although we have an extra game this year, so I wouldn't have really counted that. Yeah, they're good. Beat them. Go back to Detroit, who has looked like the best team in the league pretty much for the entire year, even with all of their injuries. And then whoever we would face afterwards, if we were to win those first 2 games, it could be Minnesota, it could be the Rams, could be the Commanders, could be the Buccaneers. Yeah, that would be a pretty sweet run. We are setting ourselves up for a favorable matchup in the NFC title game if we were to upset the Eagles and then the Lions. So would be pretty dang sweet, Aaron. I do agree with you there. All right. All right, guys, that is going to do it for me today as far as the show goes. But as you know, the content never stops. I'm always posting anything Packers related all day long. So be sure to follow me at GBP Daily on every social platform. If you are not already, it would mean a ton if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel at GBP Daily as well. I will be back and at it again tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing you then. And until then, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.